Hello, I'm Craig. And my name's Martin. Thank you for registering for TrekFest and thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar. We're here to provide you with key information that you need to complete your challenge and importantly, enable you to have a fantastic time.
We're going to cover how to navigate the participant area of the website, what to expect when you arrive at the event village, the timings for the event. We're going to share with you the route information and the routes you'll be taking. What support will you receive whilst on the route? We're going to give you some advice on recommended kit and advice on training for the event. And at the end, we're going to have a live Q&A session.
If you do have any questions during the webinar, please email them to info@trekfest.org.uk and we'll answer your questions at the end of the presentation. The participant area contains everything you need to know about TrekFest. It's updated regularly, so make sure you log in periodically to check for the latest information. Once you've logged in, use the tabs at the top of the page to navigate and access the TrekFest Trekker Guide, which contains an overview of the event and what's expected of each participant, information on kit selection, and the all-important TrekFest kit list. Please ensure you have read this document well in advance of the event. In the same location, you can also access the TrekFest Training Guide. It contains useful training tips and suggested training plans. If you haven't started already, now's a good time to start training. The Challenge Information tab contains specific information for your challenge location, and information will be added to this in the next few weeks, including camping information, details of the routes in PDF and GPX format, and details of how to find the event village location. The Update Your Details tab, located in the top right-hand corner, must be visited prior to the event if you didn't provide all of your own or your team's personal details at registration, or if any of your personal details have changed. To access and update your personal details, click on the appropriate registration form and select View or Change Existing Registration. Log in using your email address and password and update the necessary details. Prior to the event, we need an up-to-date mobile number for each participant that's taking part, and we also need up-to-date medical and next of kin information. Please ensure that you update these details as soon as possible, as prior to the event, the system will be shut down to enable us to collate the information prior to registration.
The event village is open from 6:30 on Friday evening and 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. Upon arrival, follow directions to event registration. This is open between 6:30 and 8 on Friday evening and 7 and 8 on Saturday morning. Unfortunately, registration is only available during these times. Camping is available but must be pre-booked. Payment is on arrival. The cost is £9 per person for the weekend. Food can be purchased in the food court. A barbecue on Friday night at £10 per person and a pre-event breakfast on Saturday morning. Prices range from about £3. We will set off each route between 9 AM and 10 AM on Saturday morning. Due to the amount of people taking part in TrekFest, we will need to enforce staggered start times to avoid congestion along the trail. You will be informed of your start time at event registration. There will be a 15-minute call before the start time of each route to ensure that you are ready. There will also be a 5-minute briefing before the start of each route to cover some final safety reminders. Participants will be greeted by a welcoming finish when they cross the line. Medals will be awarded to those who take on the TrekFest challenge. There will be a photographer taking your finish photo, plus your finish time will be recorded. There will also be a hot meal waiting for trekkers when you cross the finish line. If you have any friends and family coming to the TrekFest event to cheer you on, please see the challenge information document in the challenge information tab in the participant area. This will be added in the next few weeks.
The 25-kilometre route leaves the event village with all of the other routes and heads straight through Castleton. You will soon get a feel of the beautiful Peak District countryside as you arrive at Hollins Cross, followed by walking through Edale. Upon exiting Edale, we leave all of the other routes behind and continue towards Netherbooth Farm and the Ladybower Reservoir. The route will join the reservoir path and continue to follow it before heading back to the event village. En route, participants will pass through one checkpoint and will receive a hot meal at the finish. The 50-kilometre route leaves the event village in the same direction as the 25-kilometre. Once you reach Edale, the route will split and head to the Pennine Way, which heads up and over Kinder Scout. Once you have summited, you will descend into Hayfield before following distinguished paths until you reach Peak Forest. At this point, the 75-kilometre and 100-kilometre routes will split, and the route for the 50-kilometre participants will be on country roads before entering Hope and back to the event village. En route, participants will visit 3 checkpoints, receive 1 hot meal en route, and also a hot meal at the finish. The 75-kilometre route heads in the same direction as the 50-kilometre up until Peak Forest. At Peak Forest, the route splits and follows along quiet country roads and through small villages before reaching the magnificent Ladybower Reservoir. After crossing the dam at Fairholmes, we return to Hope along country roads and back to the event village. En route, participants will visit 6 checkpoints, receive 1 hot meal and 1 hot snack, along with a hot meal at the finish. The 100-kilometre route follows the same route as the 75-kilometre up until Ladybower Reservoir. At the dam by Fairholmes, the route splits from the 75-kilometre and commences on a beautiful section around Derwent Reservoir. This section, at night, lit by head torches, is beautifully eerie. After we return back to Fairholmes, we cross the dam and return to Hope along country roads and back to the event village. Participants on the 100-kilometre route will visit 7 checkpoints and receive 2 hot meals en route. They will also receive 1 meal at the finish.
For reasons outside of our control, routes may need to change at short notice up until the date of the event. This may be due to footpath closures, safety, or inclement weather. Any route changes will be communicated to you prior to the event or at the event village and during the event briefing. Any route changes may lead to checkpoint location changes and/or a reduction in mileage.
Checkpoints are located approximately every 7 kilometres to 16 kilometres and have strict open and close times which are published in the route guide. Each participant will have to officially check in, and participants cannot proceed from a checkpoint on their own for safety reasons. If you're an individual, then you will need to join another individual in order to leave a checkpoint. If you are a member of a team, then your team can continue as long as there is 2 team members. Any less than this, and you will need to join another individual or team in order to be able to continue. Checkpoints will have refreshments available, such as water, cordial, snack bars and fruit, and we will endeavour to provide toilets at each checkpoint. Please do bear in mind that due to the locations of the checkpoints, this isn't always possible. Designated first aiders will be available at every checkpoint also.
You must maintain a minimum average speed of 4 kilometers per hour throughout the event. This will ensure that you make it through the checkpoints before the closure times. The opening and closing times of the checkpoints are based on participants walking between 4 kilometres and 6 kilometres per hour.
If you miss the closing time of one checkpoint, you may not be permitted to continue, as you may be unable to reach the next checkpoint before it is due to close. Apart from in the case of an emergency, if you need to retire from the event, this has to be done at a checkpoint. If you do retire, you must notify the checkpoint crew or the event manager immediately to prevent an unnecessary search and rescue and us contacting the emergency services. A transfer service is available from Checkpoint 4 for 75k and 100k participants. Prior to this point, you must have someone who can collect you from the checkpoint at which you retire.
For your safety, at event registration, you will be issued with the emergency procedures information, which will be on the back of your route guide and also on your armband. The armband must be kept on you and visible at all times. There are walking marshals located at strategic locations along the route, and sweep walkers will follow at the rear of the group. First aid is available at checkpoints. However, walking marshals and sweep walkers are first aid qualified and will carry first aid kits with them.
Oh, hi. Yeah, we thought we'd come outside to do the section on kit that you'll be needing for the TrekFest event. All the information that you need is contained in the Trekker guide, which you can find on the participant area of the website. At the back of the guide, there's the TrekFest kit list. Please carry all of the equipment that's on the kit list, as the majority of it is safety critical. I'm wearing most of the equipment I'd be wearing on a day like today. And I start off at the bottom with a nice sturdy pair of walking boots with a bit of ankle support. Walking trousers, these need to be of a man-made fibre. Please don't wear jeans or anything that's cotton based, as they will just get soaking wet and restrict your movement. We use the layering system when we're walking in the outdoors, and the bottom layer is called your base layer. Now this has to be made of a wicking material that keeps the surface of your skin nice and dry. There's a great souvenir for the event. It's the TrekFest t-shirt. It's a superb souvenir, and it's also made of exactly the right material. The next layer up is your mid layer. This is a sort of a slightly heavier weight than your base layer. It's called your mid layer fleece, and that will keep you nice and warm on much of the days. But also inside your rucksack, you need to carry an outer fleece. This is slightly more substantial. This one's windproof, so it'll keep the wind out, but it's not waterproof. But that'll keep me nice and warm if the temperature drops a little bit. If it does rain while you're out in the hills, you'll need your waterproof trousers and also a waterproof coat. If it gets really cold, these can be just worn as an extra insulation layer, and if it rains, they'll keep you nice and dry. When you're out in the British countryside, you can get 4 seasons in a day. And for that reason, you have to carry a nice warm hat and a pair of warm gloves, just when the temperature really starts to drop. If we're lucky enough on the day to get nice sunny weather, you'll need a wide brimmed sun hat. Yeah, that'll keep the sun off you, stop you getting sunburnt, and stop the effects of heat and heat exhaustion and sunstroke. Use that in conjunction with your suntan screen. I just carry a small amount inside my first aid kit. Your first aid kit should carry all the equipment, all the stuff that you'll need. There's details on the kit list of the essential items, but blister plasters and antiseptic creams and ordinary sticking plasters are a must in here. I can carry my personal medication and any painkillers and things like that in a small pouch that's ready to hand in the top of my rucksack, and it's separate from my first aid kit. Whilst you're en route, you'll be following the route that's contained in your route guide. This is printed on waterproof paper, and so if it does rain, it won't get horrible and soggy, and you'll still be able to read the map and find out where you're going. There are descriptions of the route inside, along with a few shots of last year's events. You'll also need the maps for the area, the Ordnance Survey maps. I keep mine in a waterproof map case because these aren't waterproof, and I've got my compass for when I need to use the map in bad visibility. I'll carry a fully charged mobile phone with me. I keep mine in a nice little waterproof pouch. Please make sure that your phone details that you give us on your next of kin and on your personal information is the number of the mobile phone that you'll be carrying with you on the day. I've got my camera for those souvenir shots, some spare batteries and a memory card because I'm going to take lots and lots of photographs. And to keep me hydrated along the route, I'll be carrying about 2 litres of water. You can use either the plastic bottles like the one you can see here, or if you prefer, you can use the system whereby a bag goes inside your bag and you suck it through a tube. Me personally, I prefer the bottle system. A few nice snacks on the way, anything that takes your fancy, chocolate, energy bars, anything like that, fed along the route, but these are just to keep your energy levels up between the checkpoints. For the participants who are doing the longer routes, the 75 and 100k, you will be walking in the hours of darkness. So you need to take with you a head torch and some spare batteries. I've got my sunglasses for when things get really bright out there, when the sun's shining. And all of this goes into a 30 to 35 litre rucksack. Bear in mind though, that no rucksacks are fully waterproof. So line your rucksack with a waterproof liner. I personally just use a heavy duty plastic bag for this. You can see that the equipment's all laid out on a survival bag at the bottom. This is great for when you get an emergency situation, as they're waterproof and they will keep the wind off you if it's cold. Okay, so I've got all my kit in my rucksack and I'm ready to go. I've got my route guide to use as a point of reference, and I'll be able to follow this along the route and make sure I know where I am along the route. The route is waymarked, and as you can see here, we've got 2 different styles of arrow. The arrow with the fluorescent border is for the sections of the route that you'll be covering in the hours of darkness, and the just plain yellow arrow is the arrow that you'll be following during the day. We hope you have a fantastic time on TrekFest and have a really enjoyable day out and raise lots of money for your chosen charities. I'll see you at the finish.
Welcome back. We hope you found the information we gave you useful.
If we could offer one piece of advice that will help you succeed, it would be to thoroughly prepare. That means making sure that you've got the correct kit and you're familiar with it, but also making sure that you've trained enough to complete the challenge you've chosen. These are the 2 key things that previous participants have said really made the difference.
Yeah, we're now going to play you a short photo montage from previous TrekFests, and following that, we're going to go live to your questions. Thanks for watching. We look forward to meeting you at TrekFest.
to. Hello!
Hi, I hope you enjoyed the webinar for the TrekFest event. My name's Martin.
I'm Craig.
And we're here to answer your questions. I hope you found it informative, and most of the questions were covered. But if you've got anything that you just want clarification on, just send your questions in now and we'll do our best to answer them for you. One thing I'll cover before, while we're waiting for some questions to come in, are the maps that you'll need for the event. There's 2 maps for the area, OL24, these are Land Ranger Explorer OS maps, OL24 and OL1. Everybody needs the OL1 map, that's the one that covers Kinder Scout area, and for everybody except for the 25-kilometre routes, you will also need OL24 because the route just dips into this section for about 5 miles.
First question just received in from Phil Coverdale. Thank you, Phil. Is there parking available at the event village? There is parking at the event village. It is limited, and so it will be restricted to campers only. There is additional parking provided just a short walk down the road for anybody that's not staying with us over the weekend, and that parking is provided free of charge.
Yeah, we've got a question asking about the route guides. I mentioned the route guides when I was talking about the kit. You'll get these route guides given to you when you register on the day. As I said on the webinar, they're made from waterproof paper, so they're resistant to rain if we're unlucky enough to get rain, and these will be given to you on the day. So don't worry about those. We've also had somebody asking who's doing the 100-kilometre route and wants to take spare kit to be transferred. When you come and register, you'll be able to drop a small bag with some spare kit in, and that will be transferred for you, and it will be taken at Hathersage Village Hall.
We don't seem to have any more questions at the moment, so we'll hang on for another 30 seconds or so to see if anything drops in.
We had one question during the actual webinar. Somebody's computer dropped out, or they lost the webinar during the webinar. As soon as this has finished, this live session, the webinar will be posted on YouTube. So you can go and have a look at it on YouTube. If you're in Teams and some of the team members didn't get a chance to see it and want to watch it, they'll be able to find it on YouTube almost immediately after the webinar's finished.
Okay, we've had no more questions come in, unless anything comes in while I'm talking now. The only thing really to update you on is that all of the routes in GPX and PDF format, along with a challenge information document which details a lot of the things that we've covered in the webinar, and the checkpoint timings, will all be made available on the participant area over the next few weeks, and we will send out information to let you know when that's available. That's it from us.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.